Hi guys, so today in Plymouth we fitted a PIV unit, which is a positive input pressure ventilation system, but PIV to be short. The reason why we would fit a PIV unit inside of a property is to counteract the balance of moisture within inside the property. So what we're trying to do is push air out of our property, so push the moisture out of the bricks. The reason why you get moisture within inside your property a lot of the times is either lack of ventilation, poor ventilation within inside the property, so like that means bathroom fans and kitchen fans, or the fact that you've got moisture coming in from outside. They're the two main root causes. On this property, the reason is because the moisture is coming through the bricks. He has got a bathroom fan, he has got kitchen fans, and there is a lot good enough ventilation in the property. So on this install, we installed the EnviroVent PIV unit. So we've installed a few of these now, and they perform very, very well. We also install the Ventaxia model as well. So, but the difference between the Ventaxia and the EnviroVent is the EnviroVent's a lot smaller in comparison and still performs just as well. So on this install, it made perfect sense to install the EnviroVent because of the loft space, so that where the customer's got loft boarding and he constantly uses his loft, the EnviroVent wouldn't be in the way as much as the Ventaxia. So the old school way of dealing with these ventilation issues, where you had mold in your property, was to have a dehumidifier, and it's a big lump of a bit of equipment, and it is a good job. Don't get me wrong, it does a really good job. However, it uses tons of power and it's constant maintenance. It's basically a dehumidifier sucks the air within inside the property, collects the moisture within inside the air that it sucked, collects this inside of like a bucket sort of thing within the bottom of the unit, and then pushes air back out of the unit. So that's how a dehumidifier works, and that's constant maintenance because several times throughout the day you will have to empty that bucket, pour it down the sink or pour it in the drain, and then reinsert the bucket so it can fill up again. That's several times you may do that in a day, and it uses tons of electric, like I say, constantly drawing about 13 amps, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. However, I'm not an expert in dehumidifiers, but I know how they operate and I know what the general reason why we use them. However, a PIV unit, I can tell you exactly what that does. So a PIV unit will suck air in from your loft space in this instance. Sometimes you will fit a PIV unit where it goes through the wall, so it does the same sort of principle, but on this install, I'm going to comment on how this install works. So it will suck air in through the loft and push air into the property. It will then push air throughout all the rooms. This is why you need at least 10 mil at the bottom of each door shaved, so you need a 10 mil gap below each door to allow airflow to go between each room. You obviously would normally install a loft mounted PIV at the top of the landing, at the top of the stairs, something like this, so that it's right in the centre point of the home, so it's got the best possible chance of pushing the air in. What this will do is this will push air in, creating a vacuum. So it will create like an airtight vacuum within inside your property and push the air out of the bricks, leading to moisture going from coming in from the outside to the inside of ours to now with the PIV sucking air into the property and pushing the moisture out of the property the opposite way. So therefore, no damp, no mold, etc. And this is the number one way of dealing with damp and moisture issues, especially when you've already got good ventilation, so therefore it isn't the ventilation at fault. So you've got bathroom fan, you've got kitchen fan, great. So your other issue is moisture's coming in from the outside. If you have your windows open quite a lot inside your property, then the PIV won't work as well. However, it still will work, but when you open your windows, you relinquish that vacuum that we're trying to create. So obviously I understand in hot weathers you're going to need to open your windows, which is great. You've got more ventilation, so the air is just going to circulate. However, if you can keep your windows shut as much as possible, you'll have a better chance of creating this vacuum, so this vacuum will work better. The EnviroVent, if you've got a very good loft with minimal dust and It's quite clean. The filters with inside the air vent will last about 5 years before needing to be changed. What I will say is enough of that talking now. Let's move on to the video. But before I let you go, make sure you watch all the way to the end, because on this install particularly, I was meant to have caught the round disc from the ceiling, and I didn't catch it. I'll let you see what happens. It was quite comical. Once again, like, subscribe, comment on the bottom. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This will be a good one. Today we're installing a PIV unit for a customer to sort out their mould conditions, to help create a good vacuum in the property to push the moisture the other way. So I'll show you the ceiling before I start. We're going to be going around here, which is just above the stairs. And that mark on the ceiling is where we're hoping for the hole to go. I'll bring you back momentarily. We've got a hole through. This is our starting point. Stay tuned. So this is Bill opening up the box to our new fan. This is a PIV unit, and it's the EnviroVent brand. And what we're looking for is, it with the EnviroVent, they provide a nice template for us to use to cut the hole down the bottom underneath. So we're also going to remove the PIV. And there's our template. We've just created a hole in the centre of the template to match up with the same size hole there, so that we know that when we put this up there, that the hole in the centre will be the same, so our template will be the same when we put it up. And Bill's going to now template the ceiling for where we're going to cut our hole for our vent for the PIV. This is a lath and plaster ceiling, just so everyone knows. Not the easiest ceiling to work with, but we will conquer it and show you how. The smoke alarm. Let's disconnect that momentarily. 2 seconds.
distance.
Okay. What do you need me to do?
The whole thing.
Are you happy with that hole?
Yes, it's fine.
Perfect.
You just got to offset the top one.
Right, we'll bring you back for the next one. Any problem when cutting laughing plaster or any type of plaster is it completely destroys your blades. So we're going to have to put a new one on to do the top cut through wood. So you get a nice neat finish. PIV we're going to fit. Environment, and there's your model number, the LV2 EVLH. The heat model. This will produce heat into the property to ensure that they don't freeze within inside. I'm just going to pass the ducting through the hole, and we're going to put the bottom plate on. Just going to put the ducting over the edge. It's quite a snug fit. They provide this tape here to secure the ducting to the plate. Bill will do now, momentarily. It's just ensuring it's got a nice firm grip around. It's quite a snug fit. They certainly don't want it to come off. So just securing it on now with the white PVC tape that they provide. Always follow your manufacturer's guidelines when fitting these fans. And of course you should only be fitting these fans if you're a competent electrician to be doing so. Okay, nice and secure. Okay, so we're just going to line Bill up. So we need to turn this way a little bit more, please. More, please. More.
Sure.
That's about right. Yeah, because we're going to follow that bit of coving there to keep it nice and central. What Bill's using at the moment is a Marksman dabber. You can buy them from B&Q, Wix, etc. But it basically shoots a chalk straight through a hole to give you a good marking, so you can see it clearly. But it's also not permanent and it can be rubbed off. See the little markings there, the green markings. That's the chalk that it shot through.
That's enough.
I think just ensuring it hits laughs or not hit laughs. Where
There's no laugh on that one.
So we need to roll plug that one that you just done. At least roll plug that one. We've hit a laugh there, so it's 2 roll plugs, 2 ordinary screws. I'm just going to put a deflector in to stop the air being pushed towards the smoke alarm. It will only set the smoke alarm off if we don't put the deflector in. So there you go, this is the deflector. And here's the front cover going on now. It's a firm push normally and it clicks in. Nice and neat job. Now we need to go above. So they provide these rubbers to go underneath the feet to stop the vibrations and the noises. That's what Bill's putting together right now. We'll bring you back when he screws down the PIV unit. So you place the feet underneath the unit, like so, and then place a screw through the hole, and you're going to screw into the wood. Tighten it up in a moment. now doing to secure the duct into the PIV from this side. Always ensuring that it's a nice taut ducting so we get no build up of moisture and no sags with inside the ducting. That ensures we have cable entries and this surface box, because the PIV unit needs to be installed on a 3 amp supply, so we need to get this wired. This is the fuse that's provided with the unit, a Eurolit. So our PIV unit has now got power. I'll walk you through one thing, is that on here it says house size settings. So we have a 3-bedroom house, so that'll be setting 3. So that's what we want. And our max flow rate will be 38. And the power use will be 6 watts. And as you can clearly see, it's set on number 3. And it's got the input to be 19 degrees. Very silent running fan, as you can clearly hear. There's no sound coming from the unit at all. And it's to be fitted on a 3 amp supply. I'll show you underneath and then we'll wrap this video up. And there's the fan once again from below, now operating. Bye for now.